Well, welcome back. The House passing a bill to protect American energy production, preventing any federal moratorium on fracking. This in an attempt to reverse former President Biden's war on energy. Joining me now is the author of the bill, Texas Congressman and Chairman of the Republican Study Committee, August Pfluger. Mr. Chairman, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being here.
Maria, thanks for having me. Good morning.
Tell us about the bill and also about unlocking this potential that America has. I spoke with the chairman and CEO of Chevron the other day, Mike Wirth, and he said from a regulatory standpoint, the big issue is permitting. Okay, the regulations have gotten so hard that they can't get the permits to move forward.
Well, Mike is right, and deregulation is absolutely imperative. I'll start with this bill, the Protecting American Energy Act, my bill, which is really our first step, Congress's first step in reversing Biden's war on energy over the last 4 years. It was an all-of-government approach to assaulting American energy, and we're back. You think about unlocking our economy. Energy is the foundation. When you want to incentivize manufacturing and other businesses to come back to the United States, you have to have a prosperous but reliable and affordable energy sector. That's what we're doing. That's what this act does. And yes, we are going to have to get to permitting reform. It's something I have long championed. And as chairman of the Republican Study Committee, even tomorrow we will have the Secretary of Energy come and talk to us, Chris Wright, about that fact and how it will unlock the entire economy and really put us on a new path that Biden completely assaulted.
I mean, everything is connected to this. I know you know that, Congressman, and it's going to unlock growth for the broader economy while hopefully pushing oil prices lower and helping us on inflation as well. What's your timing on when all of that can actually take place?
Well, I mean, again, this act was passed last week. It was bipartisan. We hope that it will be taken up in the Senate. There were 16 House Republicans who voted for it. And then as we look at reconciliation, a large piece of reconciliation is energy. It is making sure that we have the lease sales on federal lands and offshore. It's making sure that we do the deregulation. And there's a huge economic growth factor to deregulation. I heard in an earlier segment that you were talking about this very subject. And we believe that by doing that, businesses will have an easier time to grow, to recapitalize, and to make things in America. This is what the America First agenda sounds like. It's producing energy here, not in Iran or Russia. But we have to have the structure of deregulation and permitting reform to get to that.
Yeah. And so that permitting reform comes from what? President Trump's executive order or when your bill passes into law?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, he's setting the example by the executive orders that he's already signed. But yes, we want to codify this. We don't want energy companies in the American economy to be dependent on the flip-flopping of executive orders. We want to codify all of this, pass it into law, work with the Senate, and get it signed by the president so that they have 20 or 30 years of planning horizon, not just 4 years.
Yeah, great point. President Trump, meanwhile, told Brett Baier about his top priorities for the House budget resolution. I want to get your take there as well. Watch this.
So you think the process doesn't matter? Eventually you're going to get there one way or another?
I believe we are. I can't imagine the Democrats don't want to take care of the debt ceiling because that could be an explosion, the likes of which we've never seen. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's very important that we do the tax bill, and I can't see the Democrats giving people the largest tax increase in history. So we have to extend it and I think make it better, make it even more productive. We can do things that we did even better than we did during the Trump tax breaks.
And you want to raise defense spending?
We want to raise defense spending. I think we have to have it.
And the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, hoping to get a bill on President Trump's desk by Memorial Day. He says the debate now has become complicated because now you're talking about state and local tax deductions and the debt limit also involved in this one big bill.
Well, Maria, it is complicated, but President Trump's priorities are absolutely spot on. We do need to increase defense spending. We do need to extend his tax cuts. We do have to take care of things like the debt ceiling extension. But here's the economic impact of this. In 2017, when President Trump passed Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was one of the biggest changes in our tax code and provided so many additional revenues to the Treasury while cutting taxes. We have to extend that, and we're going to do that. But there's a lot of competing priorities. And really what the Republican Study Committee has said, what I have come out publicly and said, is it has to be deficit reducing. The bond markets need to know that we are capable and fiscally responsible to bring our $35 trillion in debt down and to start to move in the positive direction. So all these things are priorities. I do believe we'll get it done, and I have faith in Mike Johnson to get this done.
Well, it's a great point. And you've also been dealing with the government funding deadline that is coming up. That's on March 14th. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is already messaging that if the government shuts down, it's a Trump shutdown. He says he's going to support legislation preventing a shutdown, but that Republicans have to negotiate and cooperate. So here we go again with more political games.
You're right. And the only person talking about a shutdown is Chuck Schumer, an obstructionist who for the last 4 years refused to put anything on the Senate floor that actually benefited the country. So it's not a surprise. And he's really the only person talking about this. Look, Democrats are in disarray. They really don't know where they're going. They've done nothing positive for the economy in 4 years. So I think they're just looking at President Trump's speed, his agenda, and the mandate as a huge threat to their party, which it is. Really what we want is for them to come alongside us. We want them to come alongside us to grow the economy and to strengthen our nation.
Yeah, and this energy bill that the House passed, your bill, is part of that. And part of it is blocking federal fracking bans. Congressman, do we still see bans in terms of fracking? And where are the real opportunities once you unleash fracking?
Well, we do. And I'll tell you, they've threatened this. They took a whole of government approach, every tool and weapon they could use. So my bill is very simple. It says that no future president can place a moratorium or a ban on fracking, which means that now energy companies don't have just 4 years. They have many years once this is codified and put into law, and it will allow us to have a prosperous economy once again.
Great stuff. Congressman, we're watching your work. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, August.